So in the today's session, we are going to talk about a data structure called as arrays. Okay, boss? But before we go and talk about the array data structure, let's try to understand that in this field of data structures and algorithm, what are the topics that we need to learn and in what sequence, so that what we learn today fit into that entire game. So if I go and talk about the entire data structure, it could be divided into the two halves, sir. One of the half is called as a linear data structures, and the another half is called as a non-linear data structures. Linear data structure is something in which you go and store data in one dimension, single dimension. Examples of the linear data structures will be, for example, you will have something called as arrays, which we go and start today. After arrays, we go and talk about a data structure called as a linked list. Thereafter, we go and talk a data structure called as a stack, and then we go and talk about a data structure called as a queue. These are the examples of linear data structures. Once we are done with this linear data structures, typically we'll move to the more advanced data structures called as non-linear. For example, you will have something called as a data structure called as a map. You will have the data structure called as tree. You will have the data structure called as PQ, priority queues. You will have the data structure called as a graph. So these are the more abstract and more advanced data structures. So our whole, we will first go and cover all these data structures, and then we will go and follow these non-linear data structures. And once we are done to this, in this process, we also go and talk about the different algorithms. For example, divide and conquer algorithm, greedy algorithm, for example, graph algorithms, dynamic programming, right? Different types of complex algorithms comes into the action. But as we go and make progress, tomorrow we go and see all these data structures going ahead. Array is one of the most basic and one of the most core concept, especially for the people of like a full stack developer, right? For example, for a web developer like you people, I think one of the most important data structure or data structure from which the maximum number of questions could be asked in the interview will be from the arrays itself. So the topic that I'm going to talk about in the today's session and the next one and the next few sessions is extremely important from the perspective of a web developers. Typically a front-end engineer going in the interview, what kind of questions they are asking? They ask arrays, because you use array data structure a lot when you're doing a web development. Now let's try to move on the array data structure. What is array? So typically, let's say that I have to, as a user, let's say that I have to go and give marks to 100 students. I have to go and give marks to the 100 students, and I have to go and store it. One of the very trivial way of doing it is, what we can do, I can go and define 100 variables. I'll go and say that let S1 equals to 30 marks, let S2 equals to 32 marks, let S3 equals to 99 marks, like this. I can go and do it for till the 100. So one of the approach of storing when we have to go and store the multiple values is that you go and define that many number of variables that you want to go and store. But do you think, is this a right approach? Right now I have to go and store somewhere like 100 values. Let's say that in the future I have to go and store 1000 values. Again I'll have to go and keep on defining 1000 more variables. Do you think it is the right approach? First of all, it's boring. As a human, if we have to go and do this, it's utterly boring. And secondly, it's also very slow. This is not the right approach. So when we were growing, when we were solving certain problems, we needed some way to store multiple data. We needed some way to go and store the multiple data. And that's where a new data structure came into the action which is called as the arrays. So array is a kind of a data structure which is used to go and store multiple values. Array is a data structure which is used to go and store the multiple values. For example, in JavaScript, if I have to go and store the numbers, I can go and say that nums equals to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. So I go and say that this is called as the array of integers. This is how you go and define an array in the world of JavaScript. The point to note here is that this and this is called as an array. Let's quickly go to our code and try to read it from there. Okay, let's try to go and let me go and open my VS Code. And let me go and create a new file, right? So inside this today is an array. So I'll go and define a folder and let me go and call this folder not inside this, maybe outside. And let me call this folder as the arrays, learning arrays. Right, and inside that let me go and create a file called as new file. And let me go and call it as a.js. Fair? Let's go थोड़ा कम कर देते हैं. And let me open my desk scribble. Cool. So the very first thing that I need to do is how I define an array. In order to go and define the array, let me go and remove all this. So to define an array, how do we do it? Let me go and call it let arr equals to, you start with the square brackets and you go and write 3, 5, 6, 8, 1. This is how you go and define a array in the field of JavaScript, right? As you can see here, it starts with the square bracket and it's in with the square bracket. This is the example of the array. Fair enough? That's the number 1 point. Fair? So now, in the case of the arrays, right, typically whenever you have an array, normally array has some conventions, right? What that means is that if I go and copy this code, let me go and copy this code and paste it here. Normally when you go and define this array, array elements are always addressed with the help of certain index. So the index of the array, they always start with a value called as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these elements 3, 5, 6, they all are said that they are having certain index. So the first element in an array is always at the 0th index. The second element is always at the first index. And like this, the last element is always at the size of the array minus 1th index. This is how array in JavaScript and almost all the programming language, they look the same. The first is at the 0th index, the second is at the first index, the last element is always at the size minus 1th index. Fair enough. Am I clear till this point? This is all cool. Now, arrays are known that if I have to go and get the numbers, they should be based on syntax. What that means that if say that I have an array called as 3, 5, 1, 9, 6, if I go and do console.log array 0, what it will do? It will go and print the element which is at the 0th index. So it will go and print me the value called as the 3. Similarly, if I have to go and fetch the element console.log array 2, then we go and get me the element which is the second index, which the value is equals to 1. So whenever you have to go and retrieve any element in an array, it will always go and retrieve the value as 3 and 1. Let's try to see that with the help of the code itself. So if I go and put here console.log and I go and say that array 3, right? And if I go in here, run that node a dot, so cd cd, I am inside this learning arrays. Yeah, let me go into node a.js. So when I go and run this, if you see that the third index value, it is printing as 7. It is at index 0. It is at the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Third index value is 7, so I am getting the value as 7 as printed. That's perfectly fine. Now a question for you people, because you guys would have learned other programming language. If I go and write 6 and I run this, what should happen? Can you guys help me understand? If I go and run this now, will it work? What will happen? What will happen here? So if I go and run this, the value comes as undefined. Now if it was another programming language, for example, if it is another programming language like C++ or Java, it would have thrown a lot of exception. These programming languages would have done a lot of drama. JavaScript is a peaceful language, boss. If something is there, it will return the result. Otherwise, it will not make noise. It will simply go and say that undefined, but it will not create drama of printing the 10 lines of stack trace and throwing error. Time and again, I'll give you the examples and you'll realize that why JavaScript is such a peaceful language. JavaScript is such a peaceful language. Fair enough? Cool. So now I am clear. Great. Now the next operation that I can do is that in this given array, if I go and change the value at the second index and let me set this value as 11. When I go and run this, typically what will happen is this is the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm trying to say is that at the second index, go and add the value 11. Second index, the value is 6. I want to go and replace it the value 11. So when I go and execute this, and after that, if I want to go and print array console.log array, and before this, if I go and print you will see that before that at the second index the value was 6, so it was printing 6. And when I go and do this, it has been able to replace the value. Very basic thing that we have been learning. So this is how you can go and when you go on this, this is how you can assign the values. Assign the value at a index. Fair enough? Cool. The next thing that let's try to quickly see about the array is if I have to go and do the insert an element. Insert an element. Insert an element in the array, right? So insert an element in the array, what we need to do is this array dot push and whatever the value that I go and want to do, say for example 16, and let me go and then do the console.log. So if I go and run this again, you see initially the value was this 3, 5, 11, 7, 8, 1, and after I have inserted the value, this has become equals to 3, 5, 11, 7, 8, 1 and 16. So when you go and insert array dot push, it inserts at the end. When you go and do this array dot push, it insert the value at the end of the array. एक और example देख लेते हैं. Now if I want to go and remove the element from the array, if I want to remove the element, for removing the element you have a method called as array dot pop, and then again let's try to run this console dot log array. If I go and run this, you will see that in the last there was an element 16. When I did the pop, it removed the last element. So this goes and removes the last element. If I want to go and remove the first element, then I have a method called as array dot shift. Array dot shift. When I go and do this, this will go and remove the first element. If you can see, 99 got removed. So this is the basic gyan I wanted you people to have in the array before we start solving the problem. Let's do a quick summary of what we have done. Let's do a quick summary of what we have done here, sir. So what we have done so far, we know that, let's quickly do the quick summary of all the things so that we can start solving the problems. We know that in the world of JavaScript, if we have to go and define a array, it will be defined like this. Let array equals to 1, 5, 9, 6. That's how it is defined. Array is always index based, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Using index, we can retrieve the data. For example, if I go and say that array 2, it means that I am giving the value what? 9. It will get me the value 9. Using index, I can set the data. So if I go and do this array index 3 equals to 11, it means that my array, when I go and do this, will get changed to 1, 5, 9, and at the third index the value come at 11. Fair? Am I clear till this point? And after that we have talked about few points. If I have to do the insertion, in that case, I have two methods. One of the method is called as push. So if I go and do that array dot push, and the value is 99, this will be added. This will push the data in the end. And the another method is unshift. So array dot unshift. If I go and add the value called as, say for example 33, it will go and add the data at the start. And for the deletion, we have again two methods. One of the method is called as pop. When you go and apply array dot pop, it will remove from end. And if I have to remove from the start, I will have to go and make use of a method called as shift. Array dot shift. This will remove from start. Am I clear till this point? These were the basics about the JavaScript arrays which we need to know before we start solving the problem. Is everyone in the class clear till this point? Now let's try to see that how JavaScript, now another important point here is that how JavaScript arrays are different and special than other program. For example, there is a programming language called C++ or Java. There also they have something called as array. But the array in JavaScript is special. It has got some special powers and you should know as a JavaScript developers. What is that? First of all, when you go and define an array like this, let array equals to array. In the JavaScript array, you can have data of multiple types in the same array. For example, you can keep a value integer also, you can keep a boolean value also, you can keep a string also in the same array, and JavaScript will not complain. In the world of the JavaScript, you can go and define array with multiple data types. And JavaScript will not complain. JavaScript is very flexible. If you try to do the same thing in the world of Java, they will throw you out. They will not let you do things. That's number one. Number two is JavaScript in other programming language. Say for example Java. If I am learning about Java, here if I go and define an array, array is always of fixed size. Array is always of fixed size. But now in the case of JavaScript, arrays are of dynamic size, little more powerful. In the world of JavaScript, the arrays are of dynamic size. You can go and keep on adding as many elements you want. But in the case of Java, you have to go and define it in the beginning itself. You cannot go and have the different size. That's the second difference of the arrays in JavaScript compared to other programming language. The third difference. Let's say that I go and define an array like this. Let array equals to 3, 4, 5, 9 and its indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3. Now if I go and write something like this array and I go and write fifth index equals to 11, what should happen here? What will happen here, guys? If I go and write array 5 equals to 11, what will happen? Can you guys help me? What should be happening here? Should it give me error? Will it work? What will happen? If it was other programming language, for example like Java, it would have started shouting. Java would have started creating drama. Bro, what is this? I don't like. It will start throwing index out of bound exception. It would start throwing index out of bound exception. But the same thing if I go and do in the case of JavaScript. Let me go and see that what happens. Right? So what I'll do now is that I'll go and comment out all these lines that I have already written. And let's give it a try. So I have defined, right? So I have defined, sir, let array equals to, and I go and write 6, 7, 1, something of this sort. And in this case, I go and say that array index 4 or 5 is equals to 23. Now this, you see here, this has an index 0, this has an index 1, this has an index 2. I am trying to insert at the index 5. If I go and run this, right, if I go and try to run this, nothing has error, no error has happened. And if I now do the console.log to see what happened to this array, those console.log, and I go and pass this array, and let's try to go and run this node.js, I see this has happened. As soon as I do it, as I told you, array is a Santipriya language. It's a very peaceful language. So when I go and do this array.5, for the index 0, 1, 2, it's fine. At the third index and the fourth index, it has added the empty items. And it has been very safely put 23 at the fifth index. JavaScript being a peaceful language, it tries to do what you want. JavaScript is like a Google map. Just like whenever you take a long route, Google map never complains. It just tries to realign to a new path. Same way JavaScript never complains. It says that, okay boss, you're saying 5, I agree 5. For the remaining items, I'll go and put the empty item. So this is how again JavaScript is different from the other programming language in terms of support for the arrays. Again, all these points that I'm telling you are the interviewer's favorite, boss. They will not ask you directly what is array. They will ask you that array in JavaScript, how it is different from other programming language. Let's move on. Let's move to the next point. What are the more differences of JavaScript? Now this is the most important interview favorite and also for your concept. Normally, if I go and talk about arrays in general, arrays are said to be that array elements are stored in contiguous memory location. Arrays are generally, it's a general notion about the arrays that they are stored in the continuous memory location. If you have learned some programming language like C or any other programming language like Java, C++, your instructor, your teacher, your mentor, your book would be telling you that bhaiya, if it is array, all elements will be stored in the continuous memory location. What it means, let's say that if it is an array like this, 3, 5, 9 and 11, all these elements, let's say this is a memory space, and let's say these are the locations, 1, 2, 1, 3, this is one location, another is 1, 2, 1, 4, this is another location, 1, 2, 1, 5, another location, 1, 2, 1, 6, another location. So all these elements, 3 will be stored here, 5 is stored here, 9 is stored here, 11. So all of these are located one after the in a contiguous location. It's true for all the programming languages. But in the case of JavaScript, above is not true. And this is a very tricky question which interviewer can ask you. They will tell you, bro, in the world of JavaScript, does the elements of the arrays are stored in the contiguous memory location? And normally this is the fact for almost all the programming language, you will end up saying yes, but the answer is not true. In the array, it depends. So in the array, if you go and define the array like this, in the array world, if you go and define an array like this, array equals to 1, 3, 5, 9. If an array is defined like this, where all the elements are of same type, and also there is no gap, no gap between elements. If that is the case, if the elements are of the same time and there is no gap between the elements, in that case, elements will be stored in the contiguous location, just like Java or C++. If all the elements are of the same type, for example, in this case, all the elements are of the same type, which is integer, elements will be stored in the contiguous location in Java or like C++. But on the other hand, if I have an array which is either like this 1, 3, and then there is an empty, and there are 7, and then there is another empty, and there is 9. If you see, there are gaps, right? These are the gaps. Either array is of this type or array is of, for example, it has a number also, it has a boolean also, it has a string also. If the array is of this type of the nature, right? If the array is of this type, in this case, elements are not stored together. Elements are not stored together. Fair enough? Am I clear? Are you guys clear with this point? Normally, when the elements are stored together, this is better. This is not optimal. So as a JavaScript developer, now JavaScript is flexible, peaceful. It will say that, okay, if you want, you go and add all the different data types in the array. But should you do it? You should not do it. It will be a poor practice, very bad practice. If in an array you go and add number also, boolean also, string also, though it is allowed, you should not do it. Everything which is allowed in our real life, we should not end up doing it, right? So we should not do that. So we should always make sure that whenever we go and define an array, it should all have the same data type. Now the question is, the logical question is that what is the advantage? What is the advantage of creating arrays with same data type? So when you go and store arrays with the same data type, it results into the elements are stored in contiguous locations. And when the elements are stored in the contiguous locations, it has the following advantage. The first advantage that you get, it leads to the fast access, or I also go and call it as a random access. What does that mean? I know that if the elements are stored, for example, 2, 3, 5, 9, these are the 4 elements of the array and they are stored in the contiguous location. Let's say that this location is 1, 2, 1, 9, this is 1, 2, 2, 0, this is 1, 2, 2, 1, and this is 1, 2, 2, 2. Since all of them are the contiguous location, if I am at this place and I have to go to the last element, I just have to go and add plus 2 into this, which will make me 1, 2, 2, 1, and I will come here. So when the elements are stored in the contiguous location, going or jumping to another location is very fast because you just have to go and add a number. So this is very fast access. That's number one. The second advantage of that is that if it is contiguous location, you can easily cache in the L1 cache. What is the meaning of the L1 cache? Let's try to talk about. So normally what happens, any code that you execute inside a computer, where is the execution happening? The execution is happening inside the RAM, random access memory. The more the RAM, the better it is, right? Normally when you go and buy a phone, you say that RAM kitna hai. When you go and buy a laptop, you say that how much is the RAM, because if the RAM is less, it will be slower, right? So all the execution, all the code execution happens inside the RAM. Inside the RAM itself, there are multiple layers, L1 cache, then there is L2 cache, and there is L3. There are different levels of the cache. What it means that if something is in the L1 cache, it was super fast. Then it is in L2 cache, it is comparatively slow, and this is slower. So if something is in the contiguous location, or if something is in a contiguous location, then it can get stored inside the L1 cache. So what happens if the array elements are stored in the contiguous location, it can be stored in the L1 cache, which makes things faster, right? So if the array is in a contiguous location, it can get stored in the L1 cache and it is very fast then in that case. So that's the advantage. If you want to achieve, you have to make sure that you are storing data, homogeneous data, same type of data in the arrays. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? So with this, one point that I want you people to take it from here is that when you are dealing with the arrays, in the case of JavaScript, make sure that you are using it as store only one type of data. Make it a rule. Though JavaScript allows you, don't never try to use multiple types of data. That's number one. And when you do it, it will provide you the best or the fastest way of read and write. That's number one. And number two, random access. And why these two? Because of the two things. Because elements are stored in a contiguous location And because they're stored in the contiguous location, they can go inside the L1 cache, which makes things fastest, which makes all the operations fastest. Everyone is clear till this point? Are you guys clear? What is array? Wow, the array in JavaScript is different from the arrays in other programming language. What sets it apart from other programming language? And how arrays, if you use it properly, could be a very fast data structure. Cool? Now, let's get started and start solving the problem. Let's start solving the problem in this. Problem number 1. So let's talk about the first problem. Okay? And the first problem says that, let's try to solve few problems on the array. Let me put it here. Given an array, find the index of the largest element. This is the question which is there on our screen. What is the question that it is saying? You have been given an array. Let's say that you have been given an array like this: 3, 5, 1, 9, 8, 2. And you are told that, my dear friend, can you tell me what is the index of the largest element here? See, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now in this question, let's start saying, till this, I start from here. This is 3, then I come here, 5 is the largest, so this should be 1. Then again jump, no, 1 is the largest. Then I again jump, I see 9 is the largest, so this has become the index with the largest value. Then I come here, then I come here. So out of all this, 9 is the largest element. So the value should be, I should go and return 3. Let's take another use case. I have another array: 3, 5, 9, 1, 8, 9, and 2. And it has the indexes, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if in this case, if you see, there are two numbers which are larger. 9 is again here and 9 is again here. When the larger element appears multiple times, I have to go and return the first index. So the answer of that should be like 2. So this is the question. So what we need to do? Let's quickly go and write the logic. So logic, let's try to understand what we can do. It's a simple question, very simple question, right? Let's say that is 3, 9, 1, 2, 4, 8, 6. What we do is, we start from the very beginning and assume that 3 is the largest. So I go and say that my largest is 3. Then I again jump. I go and see that 9 is more than 3. So the 9 becomes my largest. Then I again jump, no. 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 And again. So my largest is the 9. So what I'll have to do? I'll have to go and iterate over it. And for that, I'll have to go and write a for loop. I'll have to go and write a for loop. Let's quickly do this. So I go and open my code. And the code, let me go and comment this. As we make a little progress, we'll start solving the problem on the lead code itself, right? In the beginning, I just want to set the base right, and then we start solving the good problems from the lead code itself. Now I'm going to find the function, right? So let me go and call this function as function, and let me go and find max index array. I'm going to find the index, that value as the 0 itself. That 0 is the index with the maximum value. And then I start comparing with the element. So I go and say that for I equals to 1, I is less than array.length. Array.length tells me what is the size of the given array. I plus plus. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to say that if array I value is more than array index, in that case, I should go and update the value of index. Index is equals to I. And once it is done, then I should go and just simply go and return index. Right, this is the code. Let's copy this code and put that here and see if that works. So let me paste this code here. And let's do a dry run. Let's do a quick dry run of this problem. I think it is very easy problem. Let's say that I go and call this max index and I go and provide an array call as 3, 5, 7, 2, like this. So when I go and run this, if you see here, my array is what? My array is 3, 3, 5, 7 and 2, and the value of the index is 0, 1, 2 and 3. Fair enough. Am I clear till this point, guys? Now here what I do, I'm running from the loop. So for the first time when the loop is running, the value of I is equals to 1. First time when the loop ran. The value of array I, element at the first index, this value is equals to 5. And array at the index value initially is how much? Index value is set as 0. The value of index is equals to 3. So this holds true. So index value gets updated to I. So index value now is changed to 1. Second time, I value is equals to 2. When the I value is equals to 2, array at the second index, this value will be equals to 7. And array at the index 1, this value will be equals to 5. Now this is 2, so again index gets updated. So index gets updated to 2. So again, the third time, I value is equal to 3 when it is running. The value of I at the third index is equals to 2. The value of I at the index 2 is equals to 7, does not hold true. So the index does not get added. Now array.length value is how much? Array.length value is equals to 4. Next time the value of I has also become equals to 4. I has to be less than. So this for loop terminates. So when this entire for loop is done, the value of index is how much? 2. So this will go and return the value as 2, which is the right 0, 1, 2, 3. 2 is the index of the largest element. Okay. So next question says that I have to go write the code to determine if the array is sorted already. What is the meaning of a sorted? A sorted array is the one which is in the ascending order. For example, what this means that an array that looks something like this: 3, 5, 5, 9, 11. If you see that all the elements are in increasing order or ascending order. So this array will be said that it is sorted. On the other hand, if I have an array that looks something like this: 3, 2, 5, 1, 6, 9. I see it is going down, then it is increasing, then it is going down, then increasing, then increasing. There is no certain order. So I will go and say that, boss, this is unsorted. So the question says that, my dear friend, you have to go and define a function called as isSorted, in which I have to go and pass the logic. I have to go and write the logic so that if the array is sorted, I should go and return true, else I should go and return false. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? Very nice, Samreen. See, we are learning here DSA. It means that we have to write our own logic. I cannot go and use array.sort method. In our DSA lecture, using the inbuilt function is a crime and we should not do it. Okay, so we have to have our own logic. Now let's try to think what could be the logic. Let's say that if I have an array like this: 3, 5, 9, 11, 13. If I have an array like this and I have to make it sort, no, I have to check if it is sorted or not. Sorting what means? At any two position, if I go and check any two elements, this should be smaller than the right. Left should be always smaller than right. Fair? If the array has to be sorted at any given moment of time, if I go and compare any two elements, the left has to be smaller than the right. What it means is that if I have been given an array called as 3, 5, 9, 11 and 13, right, like this. If I go and compare all the combination, first of all I go and check this, then I go and check 5 and 9, then I go and check 9 and 11, and I go and check 11 and 13, and I find that in none of the place, everywhere left is less than equals to right, then I say that it is sorted. If any moment of time, for example in this case here also it is true, here also it is true, here also it is true, so I go and say that it is sorted. On the other hand, if I have something like this 3, 5, 1, 9, 11, 13. Now if I go and try to see again 3 and 5, true. 5 and 11, it is false. As soon as I go and false, I go and say that it is not sorted. What should be the logic? Let me go and open my code. I go and define another function. I go and call it as function is sorted array. Okay, and then I go and do what? I go and say that for I equals to 0, I is less than array dot length minus 1 I plus plus, and I go and compare if array of I is greater than array of I plus 1. If that is the case, it can never be sorted, so I go and return in that case false. And after this for loop, if it never returns false, it means that it is sorted, so I go and return true. Let's copy this code and do a quick dry run, boss. Let's take an array like this. I go and call an array is sorted, and I have example 3, 5, 9, 11. Let's take a positive case first of all. So it means that my array is equals to 3, 5, 9, 11 and starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. These are the indexes. Now I start the loop. The first value of the loop will be I is equals to 0. When I is equals to 0, I go and do the array at the 0th position, which is equals to 3. This is array at 1 plus 1, which is equals to 5. Is 3 greater than 5? No. So I again run the for loop the second time. I value is equals to 1. When I value is equals to 1, array at the ith position, 1th position is what? 5. Array at 2th position is 9. 5 is greater than 9? No, does not hold true. So it doesn't go inside the if block. Again the next for loop. Third time the value of I is equals to 2. Now array at the second index is what? 9. At the I plus the third index is equals to 11. 9 is greater than 11? No, does not hold true. So again it goes. So now the value of I is equals to 3. Value of I should be less than equals to 3. So it's not hold true. So now I am left with 2. So this returns true, boss. So this is how its sorted code works. This dry run which I am doing, people, make it a part of your practice. Every problem that you do, you should definitely do a dry run. It will help 2 things. 1, help you understand the logic better. Number 2, it will help you avoid the mistakes. Am I clear, people? Does it make sense? All well? All clear till this point? Can I move on? Let's do one more question before we stop today. The next question says, that you have to go and reverse an array. You have to go and reverse an array. What is that? It says that if the array is looking something like this, 3, 2, 1, 5, 9, you have to go and convert this array into like this 9, 5, 1, 2, 3. It means that the element which was at the 0th index 1, 2, 3, 4. So the element 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. First element became the last and the last element became the first. This is the meaning of reverse. Now how do we go and solve the problem? The very basic approach of solving this problem is that, let's say that I have I, 3, 5, 6, 9. The very basic approach of solving this problem is that what you go and do is that you go and take another array, another empty array like this, and you start from the last element here, and you start here from the first element here. You take the element this value 9, put it here, and then you move in this direction. Then you put, and you move this in this direction. You put 6, then you again move, and then you again move. You put 5, then you again move. You put 3, then you again move, and then you go and put 1. So in this case, you use extra array to solve this problem. This is a very basic way of solving the problem. Let's try to see the code, how we can do it. So if I go and open my code, let me go and call it as function reverse, and I have array. What I'm going to do, I'm going to define another array. Let new reverse array equals to this. And then what I go and do is I have what I do normally is that I have two variables. So I have let I equals to 0 and have another variable called as let j is equals to array dot length minus 1. And then what I go and do is that while I is less than array dot length. What do I go and write? I go and say that reverse j is equals to array I. Sorry, this I should go and put it as array dot length minus 1, and j value I should go and put it as 0. So I go and say that array reverse 0 should be equals to array I, and after that I should go and increment the value of j, and I could decrement the value of I. Let me quickly copy this code and explain you here what happened. Let's do a dry run. Okay, so I go and call this function reverse, and I go and pass 5, 9, 6, 3. Let's assume that. So what happened, because of which array value is equals to 5, 9, 6, 3. Then I go and define this reverse. So this reverse is an empty array right now. Okay, I value is equals to what? Array dot length minus 1. So I value is equals to, length is 4, so I value is equals to 3, and j value is equals to 0. It means that I right now is pointing to this, and j right now is pointing to this 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I do, while I is less than array dot length, I value is initially 0, array dot length value is equals to, so till the time I value is less than 0, I go inside this. I go and say reverse 0, you go and put the array last element. So last element of is 3, so I go and put 3 here. And after this I increment the j value, so j value is now pointing to 1, and I value is now pointing to 6, and I value got incremented. So next time what happens, the next time the value of I has become equals to 1. Sorry, the I value has become equals to, it was initially 3, this sentence has to be changed actually, this value, this condition should be changed. It should be written something, it should be value, I value should be equals to greater than equals to 0. That should be the condition. I should go and change in the code also. And that's the beauty of the, dry run. When you go and dry run, you understand these value errors that you would have done. I value should be greater than equals to 0. Fair. So initially the value of I was 3, the next time the value of I will be equals to 2. So I value will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So what do? You go and put the value 6 here. Next time again when you go, the value of I becomes equals to 1. So this value is equals to 9. You go and put the value 9 here. Next time when you go and run, the value of I becomes 0. So you go and put the value. Next time the value of I becomes equals to minus 1, does not holds 2. So finally when you come out, the reverse is 3, 6, 9, 5, which is your reversed. The time complexity of this code will be equals to order of n. This is all fine. But while I'm doing this, I'm needing some extra space. So this also has extra space, and that space is again of order of n. So it might be okay for few companies. When you go and apply for the companies like FANG, they will say that, bro, what is this extra space? It's not allowed. So you have to go and find a more optimized way of solving this problem. So to solve this more optimized way, there is a concept called as a two-pointer approach. This is one of the very strong approach or a pattern. This is a very strong pattern of the questions that we're going to solve with the help of the two-pointer approach. Now this two-pointer approach is one of the very strongest concept in the field of data structures and algorithm. So what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to talk about what this approach is, and then based on that we'll start solving few interesting lead code problems. So today we'll try to solve the code problem directly on the lead code, but first of all let's try to understand that what this two-pointer approach is. But to understand this two-pointer approach, let's first of all discuss the problem itself. So the problem at hand is, let's say that you have been given an array which comprises of the number like 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. The question says that you have to go and convert this array. What do you have to do? You have to go and convert this array in such a way that all the zeros come in the beginning. So all these three zeros, they come in the beginning, and all the ones should be followed on the right hand side. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So what I have to do, I have to move all the zeros to the left, zeros to the left, and once I have to go and move to the put to the right. This is the problem statement. I have to go and move all the zeros to the left of the array, and I have to move all the ones to the right side of the array. If this is a problem statement, how do we go and solve it? I told you last time that try to go and use two-pointer approach. We'll try to understand what two-pointer approach is with the help of this problem itself. Okay, let's try to aim this problem, that how do we go and solve it. So if I can try to see this, let's say that I have this array which looks something like this, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1 and 0. Now what is the two-pointer approach? Two-pointer approach says that instead of using one pointer for the iteration, you should try to use 2 pointers. And normally when I go and say that you have to go and make use of 2 pointers, normally what you do, you keep 2 pointers. Let's say that I have kept one pointer I, which is pointing to the 0th index, and I have another pointer j which is pointing to the last index. Now at this point of time, sir, I see that it is 1 and this value is 0. Ideally this should have been there and this 0 should have been in the first position. Since this is the wrong position and this is also the wrong position, what I need to do is that I can go and try to swap the ith and jth position. So what I can do, this will get transformed to, this 0 comes to the 0th position, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. So when I go and swap the first and the last index, this is how it happens. And now this I will move to the right and j will move to the left. Now this is the right. In the left, if it is 0, then I think it's the correct position of the 0. On the right, if it is 1, then again it is the correct position of the 0. So I don't do anything. I should again move to the next step. In the next step, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. What I should do is that I should try to move I further. So I move to this index. And again j moves to this left index. Now in this, if you go and try to see, this is the right index, but the right should be 1, which is wrong. So what I do is that I keep on moving the left index till it is right. So again, the next time what I go and do, I go and set it 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then my I would have moved to this position. Sorry. My I should have moved to this position, and my j is still this position. Now this is also wrong and this is also wrong. Whenever both of the positions are wrong, what we need to do is that we need to go and swap these two values. So when I go and swap this value, the next time the array looks something like this: 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. And at this point, if I go and move I has come here and j has come here. So at the position where I becomes greater than j, I end. And when I end this iteration, I see that my array has been correctly positioned. So let's try to solve the code. Let's try to write the code for this, and then we do the dry run. So for those people it is not clear, I think that will make things much better for you people. See, we could have done sorting, we could have sorted this. One of the solutions is that I could have sorted it. But on the sorting, the best of the sorting algorithm takes a time complexity of order of n log n. So when you go and do this, Chotu Motu company will be happy that okay, you have sorted and solved this. But if you're planning to target any good company like the FANG, top product based company, they will feel that this is not a smart choice. Not everything which is available is always optimal. You guys are the smart folks. You guys are the top 1% techies. So you should try to take an approach which is more optimal, and that's why we are taking this approach. So now I'll move to the code. And in the code, in the last session, we were solving the problem. So let me go and take this problem, define it like this function, and I go and call it as move 0 to left, right? And this is an array. Since it's a two-pointer problem, what I go and do, I go and say that let left equals to 0, which is the 0th index. Let right, which is the right index, it's two-pointer approach, it should be equals to array dot length minus 1. And now I do this, I say that till the time left is less than right. I go and write till the time 0 is at correct position, keep jumping right. What it means, I go and say that while array left is equals to, it means that is the correct position, so I just go and increment the value of left. Similarly, I go and say that while 1 is at the right index, keep jumping left. So I go and say that while array right is equals to 1, just do right minus minus, perfectly fine. After doing this, if left is still less than right, then I go and do what? I should swap left and right. How do I go and swap? Let me go and say that left temp equals to array left equals to array right, and then array right equals to temp. This is how I'm going to define it. This is the code. Let's try to copy this code and put that on my whiteboard so that I can try run this. Let's analyze this code that we have written. Okay. Let's say that I have called this function, sir. I'm trying to do the dry run. I believe all of you in the class, you should practice enough to feel confident about doing the dry run of a problem. So I go and call this function like this, move 0 left, and I go and pass this like 1 0, or let me go and do it like this, 0 0 1 0 1 0 1. Let's say that this is the input array that I have. Okay. So what it means that if I go and try to run this, the value of the array is equals to 0 0 1 0 1 0 1. This is my array. Left is 0, so the value of the left in the beginning is equals to 0. Right value will be equals to array dot length minus 1, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 minus 1 is equals to 6. So in the very beginning when I am trying to run, this value is equals to 0, right value is equals to 6, so this holds true. I come here. Now in this part what I am trying to say till the time the value is 0 is in the left, it is right index, you just have to keep jumping. See, the left is pointing to this and the right is pointing to this last index. Now while array left is equals to 0, I should keep jumping left. It means that I'll first increment the value of left as 1, then again this value holds true, then I increment the value to 2. At 2 it does not hold true. So after this is done, the value of left would have become equals to 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. At this time the value of left would have become equals to 2. So left right now, if I go and try to see, at this point of time my left will be pointing to this index. Now I come to this part. In this part I go and say till the time the right value is equals to 1, I should keep jumping to the left. This value is 1, so I again run. Right value is incremented to 5. Now value at 5 is 0, so I go and stop here. So after this is done, the value of right will become equals to how much? 5. So at this point of the time, right starts pointing to the 5th index. Now at this point left value is how much? Left value is equals to 2, right value is equals to 5. So what I need to do? I need to go and swap these two values. These two values has to be swapped. So when I go and swap, the array gets transformed to 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. Right? This is how it became. Let me actually write in the left. So this became something like this: 0 0 0 0 1 1 1. This is how it became, right? And where is my left? My left is still at this index, and my right is where? My right is at this index. Fair enough? Am I clear? Now next time what I do, I again go back. So when I do this, the next time and the while loop runs, at this point of a time the left value is equals to 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Left is equals to second index, right value is equals to 5th index. Again I go and call this. I'll have to keep moving right till I am 0. So what will happen when I go and run this? This will come here, it's still 0, then it will come here. So the left value will become equals to, at this point the left value will becomes equals to 4. So after this loop is done, left will start pointing to, after this loop is done, left will start pointing to this index. Then I come here, I'll keep moving left till the value is 1. So this value is 1, this value is 1, this value is 1. So this, when this loop is finally done, the right value should become equals to how much? Right value should become equals to 3. So if I go and remove this, after this loop is done, this is where the right will start pointing to. Now here left is 4, right is 3, nothing happens, so it does not go inside the if block. And then I again come here outside. Now at here left value is how much? Left value is equals to 5. Sorry, left value is equals to 4. Right value is equals to 3. does not hold true, so the loop is done. And when it is done, you see that my array has already been converted to all the 0 to the left and all the 1 to the right. This is how my code. Now for those folks who have not done, those people who have not studied the time complexity wala chapter from my YouTube channel, for you people, you will feel that, see, this is one loop, this is one loop, this is another loop, loop, inside loop. So the time complexity should be order of n square. If you are feeling this, then this is wrong. There is a very famous funny saying in Hindi कि दुपट्टा दिखे तो लड़की है, ऐसे जरूरी नहीं है. These days, I mean, the guys are wearing the scarf. So the time complexity is not like two loops always. What is the definition of the time complexity? The definition of the time complexity is the number of times, number of operations which is proportional to the input size. Now the input size is what? The input size is array length. Input size is the length of the array. Now what is happening in this whole thing? I am moving from here and I am moving to here. So now max number of operations that can happen is proportional to the n itself. So what will be the time complexity? Order of n only. Even though it looks two loop, but what you are doing, you are just moving from left to right and right to left only once, not multiple times. So the number of max operation is n, so the time complexity will be order of n, and that's why we have not sorted but use this approach because it has helped me solve the problem very. Chaliye, let's get started with the lead code problem. So I have thought that I'll try to go and solve a lead code problem for you people today. Okay, so let's get started, guys. It's very important. I don't want you guys to randomly jump on the lead code, but I want to give you the selective problems. I want you guys to give the selective problems. Let's move to the next problem, guys. Let's quickly open this lead code problem and you guys can solve the problem with me. Okay, let me increase the font of this. Okay, let's try to first of all read what the problem is. So let me go and open my scribble. Okay, to sum problem, you can always go and search for this problem number 167. It says to sum input array is sorted. It is saying that given a 1D indexed array of integers that is already sorted in the non-decreasing order. Okay, so we have been given an array which is sorted, and this array is of integer, positive or negative numbers. Fair. Let find two numbers such that they add up to a specific target number. So we have given an array. The array will have positive or negative integers, but they are on sorted order. I have to find two numbers and tell me those two numbers which add up to a given specific target number. Let these two numbers be the number index 1 and number index 2, where index 1 is more than 1, index less than index 2, less than numbers dot length. Fair enough. Return the indices of the two numbers index 1 and index 2 added by 1. So whatever is the index, I have to go and add 1 to it as an integer array of length 2. Okay, so this is the return. The tests are generated so that there is exactly one solution. We may not use the same element twice, so solution must use only the constant extra space. So no extra space is allowed. And input is this. So let me do one thing. Let me take this input and put that on the screen here. Okay. So let's try to understand what the problem is trying to say and then we'll try to solve it, sir. So this is the problem. Problem is saying that you have been given an array. Let's say that you have been given an array which is above 2, 7, 11, 15. It is sorted. This array is sorted. What is the meaning of the sorted? All the elements are in the increasing order, as you can see this. It is telling you have to make a target of 9, and for making the target of 9 you can select any two elements. Whatever those two elements, their indexed has to be returned. So for example, if I have to make 9, I can see that my one of the element could be this and another element could be this. This is at the element index 0, 1, 2 and the 3. So what I need to go and return? I need to go and return the index 0 and index 1. But the question said that it has to be incremented by 1. So I go and increment this by 1. I also go and increment by 1. So my answer should be 1, 2. Okay, very nice. Let's take one more example. I think that will make things more clear. So if I go and talk about okay, we have one more example like 2, 3, 4, right? Let me take this and let me take this. Now again in this case, what is my target? My target is 6. So I have 2, 3, 4. My target is 6. So what I go and do? I go and see that is this possible? No. Is this too possible? No. What is possible? This and this. What is the index? The index value is equals to 0, 1, 2. So I have to go and return 0 and 2. It has to be also incremented by 1. It has to be also incremented by 1. So it should go and return 1, 3. And this is what the index 1, 3 is the answer. So humanly it's much easier, but what should the logic should I go and put? How should I go and solve it? So in order to solve this problem, what we can do is, right? What we can do is that let's take another example. Let's say that I have an example something like this: 1, 3, 4, 5, 8. No, something like this. 7. And let's say for example 9, and let's say that my target number is also equals to 9. My target number is, this is the target that I want to go and achieve. Now in order to solve this problem, the concept which is the 2-pointer approach, before we even go and apply the 2-pointer approach, can you guys tell me what is the other approach that we can go and solve it? Let's say that I don't want to go and optimize this. I want to go and solve this. How can I go and solve it? What I can do is that I can write 2 loops, right? I can keep one loop here, and then the another loop I go and move from here to here. I go and try to add 1 with 3, then I would like to go and add 1 with 4, I would like to go and add 1 with 5, I would like to go and do 1 with 7, I would like to go and 1.9, I didn't get it, done. Then I come here 3, I go and try to add 3 with 4, I should go and add 3 with 5, I should go and add 3 with 7, I should go and add 3 with 9, I'm not done. Then I come to 4, then I go and add 4 with 5 and I got 9. In this approach where I'm trying to find all the possibilities, this is called as a brute force approach. This is called as a brute force approach. How can we solve it? How can we write the code for the same? I can go and open my code and I can go and say that right, I can go and define function and find indexes, find some indexes, right, and then I have array. What I can do is that I go and write an array called for for I equals to 0, I is less than array dot length I plus plus, and then I can say that for j equals to I plus 1, j is less than array dot length j plus plus, if array I plus array j is equals to the target number that I am trying to look for. It we also go and pass that as target. In that case, what should I go? I should go and return I plus 1 and I should go and return j plus 1. This is the logic that I can go and write, right, in order to go and solve this problem, right. What I can do is I can go and write this logic. Fair enough. What will be the time complexity of this logic? If I go and write the time complexity of this logic, what will be the time complexity of this? Right. This will help me go and find that in a given array, what will be the time complexity of this? Time complexity of this will be order of n square, right? Which means that if it is n square, it is also called as a brute force approach. It's perfectly fine, sir. When you're trying to think, at least you should be able to solve by the brute force approach. But most of the time, any good company will not entertain your brute force approach answer. They will say that, hey, it's okay that you have been able to solve, but if you want to survive and be the part of my company, at least you go and improve it to order of n. So I need to go and solve this problem in order of n. I need to go and solve this problem in the order of n. Okay, how do I go and solve it? So let's say this is my array 1, 3, 4, 5, 7. I know that it is sorted. So many of the times whenever you have an array and in the question directly, indirectly, if it says you that it is sorted, your brain should start functioning that can I go and apply a two-pointer approach, sir? This should be your direct hint to you people. Most of the time in the question, if it is of array and it is mentioned in the question itself that it is sorted, it's trying to give you an indirect hint, boss, can I go and apply a two-pointer approach here? Okay, this is how you have to think. Now this is array and this is sorted. So let's try to fit in if the two-pointer approach can work out. So what I can do, I can keep one pointer in the beginning, boss, and I can keep another pointer at the end and try to find the sum. 1 plus 9, my target is 9. 1 plus 9 is equals to 10. Now 10 is greater than 9. So sum is greater than 9, so which is not the target. So now I have two options. Either I can move right or I can move left. What should I do? Should I move right or should I move left? See, right now the sum, it is a sorted array. It is in the increasing order from the left to the right. At this point when I am here, I plus j is equals to 10, which is more than my target value, which is 9. It means that I have to reduce the target value. So should I move I to the right or should I move j to the left? Since if it is sorted, if I increase I to the right, this sum will increase. But what I have to do? I have to decrease the sum. So I have to do what? I have to move j to the left. So if I go and move j to the left, this array is 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And now my j has been moved to the left to this index. And I still remains the same. Again, I try to go and find the sum of 1 and 7. 1 plus 7, which is equals to 8. And now it is less than the target element. If it is less, then it means that I have to go and increment the value. So what I'll do, I'll move I to the right. So if I move I to the right, this looks something like this. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And then boss, my I is here and my j is here. Again, I try to go and find the value of sum. 3 plus 7 value is equals to 10, which is more than 9. Again, more than the target. So what I'll do, I'll go and try to move j to the left. If I try to move j to the left, this is how my system looks like. 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And my j has moved to this position and I is still at this position. Now at this point, I again go and add 3 plus 5 value is less than 9. It means that I'll have to go and move to the right. So if I go and try to move to the right, what will happen? Let me bring it here. It becomes 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And my I is now pointing to the 4. J is already pointing to the 5. At this point of time, I go and add 4 plus 5, which is equals to the 9. I got the value. So my right answers here are I and the J. This is the logic that we are going to apply to solve this problem by the two-pointer approach. My intention by the today's session is that you all should have a good hold and intuition that when should I go and make use of two-pointer approach and how it has to be used, sir. Let's do the beginning of the lead code. So I go and open my Chrome, and in the Chrome I will start writing the logic. So this is my function. Let me increment the font. So what I'll go and do is I'll go and say that let left equals to 0. Fair enough, cool. And then I also go and say that let right equals to numbers dot length minus 1. And then I go and do that while left is less than right. I go and try to find the sum. Const sum equals to array left plus array right. Now there could be three possibilities, right? There could be three possibilities. One possibility is that if some value is equals to target, in that case I go and return this as an array, right? So I have to go and return left, but I have to increment it by 1, comma right, I have to increment it by 1. Else what I need to do is that I have found the sum. Else what I go and do this, I go and say that else if, and I go and say that if sum is less than target, in that case I go and do the left plus plus, else I go and say that right minus minus. Okay. And if I am done with the loop and I don't find anything, in that case I should go and return an empty array. If I don't find such sum, if I don't find a sum, I go and return the empty array. Let's try to run this and see if it works. Mine is a free version. I think most of you already would have, so it takes some time. Right? Normally lead code promotes the paid customers. So if you're a free customer, it will always purposefully delay your code submission so that you are fed up and you end up paying to them. Right? Meanwhile it is running. Let me go and copy this code and put it on your whiteboard so that we can do a dry run till the time it comes up here. So let me go and paste the code here. This is the code which we have written. Okay, let's take some number. For example, I have an array which is 3, 5, 6, 9, and let's say my target is, equals to 11, right? So left is equals to 0, right value will be equals to how much? 1, 2, 3, 4. Its value will be equals to 3. Initial value, left is 0, right is 3, so it holds true. I come here, some initial value. What is the value here? So I have this value and I have this value. This is left and this is right. Some value is equals to 9 plus 3, 12. Some value is equals to 12, target is equals to 11, does not hold true, so I come here. Check, some value is how much? Is 12. Target value is 11, does not hold true, so I come here. I go and decrement the value of the right, so the right value gets decremented. So now right value starts pointing to this point, and at this point the value of the right is equals to 0, 1, 2, and this left is equals to 0. Now again I go and try to find this value becomes equals to 3, this value becomes equals to 6. So the sum value is 9, target is 11, does not hold true. Sum value is 9, target is 11, holds true. So I go and increment the value of the left. So left now starts pointing to this point. So the next time again when I go and run, left value is equals to how much? 1. Right value is how much? 2. Holds true. I come here, left value 5, right value 6. Sum value is equals to 11. Target is 11, holds true. So I go and return. Whatever is the index, left is equals to 1. So 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1. So this returns 2, comma 3. This is how I go and solve the problem. Let me go and open my Chrome and see if the question is executed, and I see that network error. Let's try to reload this again, run this code again. So this is the problem with the lead code. It's giving us a runtime error. What is the runtime error? Array is not defined. I have done some tempo. This should be numbers, right? This should be numbers. Cool. Now let's try to rerun this again. What is the error again? Oh, there is number. I just called it as array. Numbers. Let's try to run this again. And I see that it has been accepted. I can go and submit this solution. So I can go and submit this solution. It has been submitted, right? I have beaten 46.53% and 58 millisecond is what my runtime is. Since I'm running in the JavaScript itself will have the high runtime, so that's perfectly fine. Cool. So this question is done. Let's try to move to the next problem. Let's move to the next problem. Okay. Let's try to solve the next problem. Let's try to see what the problem is. The problem says that container with the most water. You people can go and open your lead code and try to solve the problem yourself. The problem says that containers with the water is again a very famous and it's a mostly asked question in the interviews. So make sure that you are solving this problem well. You are given an integer array height of length n. The name of the array is height and its length is n. It means there are n elements. There are n vertical lines drawn such that the two endpoints of the ith line are I, 0 and I height I. What it means is that if I go and try to see this diagram, right, this is the height array which has been given to us, where each thing is representing the height of the wall. For example, this is the height of the wall is 1. This guy has a height of the wall 8. This third has a height of the wall which is equals to 6, right? So these things are representing the height of a wall. It's saying that if this is the case, and let's say that from the top the rain has happened, from the top the rain has happened, what is the maximum amount of the water that can be stored between any two walls? What is the maximum amount of water? What is the maximum amount of water that can be stored between any two walls? This is the question. You have been very interesting question. I'm again repeating, you have been given an array of integers and it is saying that this values in this height array indicates the height of a wall, and from the top, if let's say that suppose the rain has happened, what is the maximum volume of the water which could be stored? For example, in this case, the water which is stored between these two walls is the maximum water. Let's take this example. Let me do one thing. Let me take the screenshot of this. And put that on my Fair enough. So in this problem, if you go and try to find the problem, this height 1, so this is height is of 1. This is height 8, so this is height of 8. This is height of 6, so this is a height of 6. This is height of 2, then it is a height of 2. So these are different walls. These are the different walls. Now what we need to go and find, we have to go and find what is the maximum water that can be retained. Now if I have to go and solve the problem, what is one approach? The one approach is that first you go and fix this wall, you stand on this wall. And the very basic approach which comes to my mind is that I go and fix this wall and try to go and see that how much water can I go and store between these two. So the water between these two could be stored is how much? Only this much of water. What will be the value of that water? That value of that water will be equals to something called as 1 and 1. So this will be 1 only. This distance will be 1 and the height is 1. So the water is 1 itself. The another possibility is that between this and this, so again the height of water that will stay between these two will be this much only. Are you guys getting my point? Am I clear till this point, guys? So I can go and find the water between these two. Then I can go and find the water between these two, which is this one. Then I can go and find the water between these two. Then I can go and find the water between these two. Then I can go and find the water between these two, 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 right? So all the possibilities, all the possibilities. When I go and try to find this in this way between all the possibilities, this will be a brute force approach. Again, it will have order of n square time complexity. If this problem you have to go and solve intuitively, like very first thought what comes. Let's say that what you have to do is that you have to find combination of walls, combination of walls. So at any given moment of time you have to take two walls and see what is the water stored in it. For example, sir, if I go and pick this wall and this wall, if rainwater is falling, rainwater can only be collected in this area. What is this area? This area is only equals to 1 because this length is 1 and this height is equals to 1. So 1 into 1 will be 1 only. Am I clear? Similarly, I'll have to go and select, if I go and select this and this, so the rainwater will only get collected between these 2 points. So area will be how much? This area is 1, this height is equals to 6. So in this case I can only go and store 6. Similarly, let's say that if I go and select this wall and this wall, right? So what is the distance? This is 1, this is 1. So this distance is equals to 2. Height is equals to how much? 5. So this area can store how much? 10. So what I have to do? I have to go and find the combination of all the walls. So if I end up finding the combination of all the walls, it will be a brute force approach. When you go and try to find all the possible combinations of the wall, do the calculation for each of the possible combination, it will be a brute force approach and it is not optimal, not optimal. So companies will not go and accept this solution. So what we can do? What we can do here is that, again in this question, we can try to apply the two-pointer approach, sir. What we can do? We can go and try to apply the two-pointer approach. What I can do, boss? I can just stand on this. So one pointer is in the beginning and another pointer is in the end. Now if these are the two walls, how much water could be stored between these two walls? The water that could be stored between these two walls will be this line. So how much water between these two lines? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It will be 8 So this whole distance is equals to 8 and this distance is equals to 1. So the total water that could be stored is equals to 8. The total water that could be stored in this case will be equals to 8. Now what we do next is that out of these two, which one is the smaller wall? This is the smaller wall. So I'll move in this direction. I take this one. So this is my next wall. So I'm standing here and this is another wall. I try to go and find what is the maximum water between these two. So the distance from here to here is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the whole distance here is 7. And this whole height is how much? 7. So the total area that it holds is 7 into 7 equals to 49. So it's more water, so I go and update that, okay. The maximum water right now is 49. Now out of these two, which is the smaller? This is the smaller. So I'll again move to the left. I jump here and try to find what is the area between these two. So this will be the area. This area will be how much? This area will be equals to, this height is how much? This height is equals to 3. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 into 6, which is equals to 18, which is less than 49, so I'll stick to the 49. Now out of these two, which one is smaller? This one, so again I move here. So between this and this is the, fair enough. Does it make sense to you people how I am making use of the two-pointer approach, or you want me to give it another try? Did you guys get the approach? Shall I write the code first and then we do the dry run so that it makes sense? Dry run करके देखते हैं, code को पहले run करते हैं. Let me see your comments. Okay, so I go and open my lead code, Chrome, and this Chrome, what I'll do, I'll go to my code here. And I'll go and say that let I equals to 0, which is my left pointer. Let j equals to, let me go and call it as the left pointer itself. No? Let me go and call it as the left. And let me go and call it as the right pointer is equals to height dot length minus 1. Fair enough. And then I go and say that let max area, I initialize this value as 0. Then I go and call it as while left is less than right. What I go and say that while is left is less than right. Then I go and say that first of all I go and find the width. So I go and say the const width should be equals to right minus left. That should be the left. And const current area should be equals to, what should I go and do is that I should go and find the minimum of the height. So I go and say that math.min and I go and say that HEIGST and I go and set height of left comma height of right. So minimum of the height of these two and into I go and multiply with the width. Right, and then what I go and do that if max area is less than current area, then I go and say that max area equals to current area. I go and update that. And then I have to move left and right. So if I go and say that if height left is less than height right, then in that case what should I go and do? I should go and increment the left. I go and do the left plus plus, else I should go and try to do right minus minus, and finally I should go and return max area. Let's try to run this and see if it works. Wrong answer it is saying. Let's try to see what it is. Expected 49. Okay, let's try to see what mistake that I have done. What I have done is that I have done the left equals to 0, that's perfectly fine. Right equals to height dot length minus 1, max area is equals to 0. While left is less than right, I go and write width equals to right minus left, that's perfectly fine. Current area should be equals to math dot minimum, and then I go and say the height left, height right, and then I should go and multiply with the width. And then if I go and say that if max area is less than the current area, then I should go and do the max area is equals to current area, that's perfectly fine. And then if height left is less than height right, then I should do left plus plus, else I should do the right minus minus, and then I should do the max area. This looks fine. Let's do a dry run. I think this is the excellent case where the dry run will help us solve this problem. So let's do a dry run of this, and that's where the dry run helps. And I purposely want to bring this problem so that you should be able to try when this kind of issue happens on the coding platforms, right? So I have this function height, and then what we do is, let me take this use case which is coming here, right? So this is the height. Cool. So what I do now is I bring it here, reduce the font size a little, so what we do now is, boss, is let me do a dry run. Cool. So what is my array value? Array value is again 1. Let me go and copy this, copy it, and paste it here. Okay, and using the dry run, we'll try to troubleshoot this. So I have a challenge in this problem. I have to go and troubleshoot this question. Okay, let's try to go and see that in our code editor also it is giving me the same answer. So what I do is that the value of the height is this array. Okay, left is 0, right value is equal to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This value will be equals to 9 minus 1 is equals to 8. The right value is equals to 8. So in the very beginning, my left is here and my right is here. Now initial my max area is equals to 0. Now left is less than right, perfectly fine. So what is my width? My width value will be equals to right minus left. So left width value will be equals to right value is equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? So my width value will be 8 minus 0 should be equals to 8. And then my current area should be equals to height of left. Height of left is equals to 1. Height of right is equals to 7. Now minimum of 1 and 7 is equals to what? This whole value will be equals to 1 only. Width is equals to 8. So this current area that becomes equals to 8. Now max area is 0, current area is equals to 8. Since 0 is less than 8, so the max area becomes equals to 8. So the max area becomes equals to 8. Now height of left is equals to 1, height of right is equals to 7. So this is the case, so left increment, so left value becomes equals to 1. Left becomes equals to 1. So when this happened, right, my max area has become equals to 8, and at this point of the time the left value should change, right? So at this point of my time, my left value my left value has changed to the first index, right value is still 7. So left is equals to 1, right is equals to 7, max value is equals to 8. Now width is right 8, left 1, this equals to 7. Current area, height of left is 8. Height of right is equals to 7. The minimum of these two values is 7. Width is 7. So the total area is 49. So my max area is what? 8. My current area is how much? 49. So the max area should becomes equals to what? 49. So the max area becomes equals to 49. Okay. Height of left is how much? 8. Height of right is how much? 7. Since height of left is less than height of 7, right? So what I'll do, this does not hold true. I come here, so this value gets decremented. So when I go and run this, my max area has become equals to 49, and this value, this right comes here, and I'm doing this left value is equals to 1, right value is equals to how much? 7. Again I go and find the width 1 and the 7, the value turns out to be 6, right? Height of this is equals to 8, height of this is equals to 3, the minimum of these two value is 3, this is 6, 6 into 3, 18, so the current becomes 18. Now current is 18, max is 49, this does not hold true, so this doesn't get updated. Fair enough? And this is how it continues, right? So when I'm running this, I'm not finding anything dry run. Let me go and open in my code and see if I go and run the same code. So let me go and try this code in my VS Code. Now, what is the challenge? The challenge here is not the code, but the challenge here is where I am returning the max area. By default, what the problem has happened, boss, is in this entire code, this return max area that I am returning, this code, this I have returned inside the while itself. So it returns the first time itself. This is the error. This has to come out of this. I should go and return max area here. This is the issue which happened. So if I go and change to my where lead code Chrome, right, this value here, if I go and remove this and put it here, and I go and run this now, it has passed. So normally if sometimes the code doesn't work out for you people, you don't have to get demotivated. Try to put that on a whiteboard, try to do a dry run. Normally when you go and try to do the dry run, you will go and find it what the issue is. Sometimes still if it is not going good, take a small break, go drink some sip of water, take it as a challenge and then try to identify that what went wrong. Fair enough? Am I clear, people? Does that make sense? Now let's quickly move to the next question. Let's try to quickly move to the next question. Let's target one more question of the lead code today. Okay. And that question, let's talk about this question. The question says that remove duplicates from the sorted array. The question says that remove duplicates from the sorted array. There is a sorted array where there might be some duplicate values. Given an integer array sorted in the non-decreasing order, it means that it is again sorted. Again, if the array which is sorted, it means that try to make use of the two-pointer approach. Remove the duplicates in the in place. In place means that you should not use no extra space. Whenever somebody says you that, hey, you have to solve this problem in place, it means that you cannot make use of any extra space. Remove the duplicates in place so that each unique element appears only once. the relative order of the elements should be kept the same. It means that whatever is the initial order of the elements, it should not be changed. Then return the number of unique elements in the number. It is saying that you have some array. This array is sorted and it will have some duplicates. What you need to do is that you have to remove the duplicates. And after you have removed the duplicates, you have to go and return the number of unique elements. What is the number of the unique elements which is there? Consider the number of unique elements to be k to get accepted, and you need to do the following things. Change the array number such that the first k elements of the numbers contain the unique elements in the order they were present in the number initially. It is saying that you don't use extra space array. So change the same array so that its initial first k elements are the unique elements in the array. The remaining elements of the numbers are not important, as well as the size of the numbers. Return that k. Let's try to understand this with the help of an example that they have given. So let me go and take a bigger example, which is this. Let me go and put it here. So the question is telling us that you have an array. So this is an array. As you can say, this is a sorted array. But this has a duplicate elements. Duplicate elements. The question says that in this array, which is 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Question says that I have to go and remove the duplicates, right? So for example, if I go and remove the duplicates, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. So if I go and remove the duplicates, all elements have to be shifted to the left. So it should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it could be any element which is left, does not matter. So I have to go and make sure that all the unique elements comes to the left. All the unique elements comes to the left. And यहाँ पे जो भी है, whatever it is, I don't care. I don't care. Once I have done this, I have to go and return the count of these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to go and return 5. This is what the question is trying to say, sir. What I'll do is that I'll explain you the logic. I will explain the logic of this code. What I expect you people is that you to go and solve this. And then if you are able to solve this problem, please tag me. Okay? So I'm only going to tell you the logic of this, how you should go and approach, and not only full. I'll go and tell you the half logic so that you get started with the thoughts, and then we take it from there. Okay? So let's copy this. Now I have this 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. Now one of the approach could be that I start from here and then I move next pointers here. I keep on moving till the point I find the next number. If I find the next number and if it is repeated, I go and swap these two. So this becomes 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. And again, since it becomes unsorted, it has to be again swept till the end and it has to be brought to the last. Right? So basically the whole 0 has to be brought to the last. So what I'm trying to say here is that this should get converted to 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and then this becomes 0. Then again I come here and I see that again this is a duplicate value. So again this has to be brought to the end. So everything has to be brought in. So it becomes 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 0 and 1. But again if I go and see, again this is a duplicate. So again I have to take this to the last. So this then becomes 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 0, 1, 1. Then again when I come here, I see there is a duplicate value same as the previous one. So again I have to take this to the last. So this becomes equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 0, 1, 1. And this becomes equals to 2. But again if I come here, I go and see that this is duplicate. So again I have to take this to the last. So this becomes equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 1. And then this becomes equals to 2, 3. And then after this I gonna reach, I see that there is no more sorted. So this is the sorted array and this is the unique values. So what is the count of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I go and return 5. This is a medium level difficulty problem side. For the beginners, if I am trying to go and solve, I'll go and count it as a medium level. Are you guys understanding what the problem is trying to say? Can you guys give it a try? I want you people to sleep with this problem. Sleeping with the problem means that till the time you don't get the solution, don't try to Google, don't try to use ChatGPT, don't use Google Gemini to solve this problem. Please, if you do it, you will defeat the purpose. I want you guys to give it a thought. This problem, I'm telling you the hint, you can make use of the two-pointer approach. Sleep with the problem. If you're not able to solve, perfectly fine. But till the time our next class happens, I don't want you to go and ask someone, get the solution, ask ChatGPT, ask Google. Don't do that, please. Because if you do it, that's not going to help. That's not going to help you build the logic. The more you struggle with the problem, the more you fight with the problem, the more you will sleep with the problem, the more it is running in your brain will be trained, your brain will be working. If you're able to solve, great. If not, that's perfectly fine. But make sure that you're trying hard to solve this problem.